Welcome back, guys, to another video of Wrenchin' Redneck. Today we're working on this 1990 Dodge Omni, putting it back on the road and making it a new daily for us. With that being said, let's go ahead and tear into it. What we have here is a 1990 Dodge Omni with a 4-cylinder and an automatic, unfortunately. But let's check this thing out. This is one of the cleanest Omnis that I have ever seen, let alone in Iowa. I can say that this thing did come from Illinois originally. It's got some Illinois stickers on it. But it runs and drives. I ended up buying it with the Shelby back there. The owner stated that it cannot be driven on the road because it's got a bad wheel bearing. And I'm going to judge by the tires here that it's probably the driver's side, but we'll see. Passenger front tire's a little bald, but not as bad as that driver's side. Rear tires are brand new. This thing, the only rust I can find is right here. That is the strangest spot for that thing to rust, but 4-cylinder in here. This little 3,300 pound car is rocking a 2.2 liter inline 4-cylinder. This is the non-turboed version, and actually is the same motor as the Daytona and the same motor as the Dodge Charger as well. These two being turboed with manuals. This one's rocking an automatic transmission, unfortunately. But everything's looking pretty sound in here. This thing is putting out a whopping 98 horsepower. Probably after a year's gone by, probably more like 62, but the turbo actually only adds about 50 horsepower on top of those cars. But it's still, for this car being so light, driving around my driveway right now, it just feels like a peppy little go-kart. It's awesome. Let's go ahead and check out the interior. The door handles are kind of broke on this thing, so you gotta push it in. But the interior on this is just immaculate. There is no cracks in the dash. This carpet looks pretty decent, I suppose. There's no rips in the seats or nothing. I mean, this thing just looks pristine. Look at that back seat. I don't think anybody's ever sat in that. That is just unreal. This thing has 53,000 original miles on it. Just unbelievable. Floor shifter on it. The rockers, very slight rust there, but they're solid for the most part. This is a decent little car. You can hear just kind of a nasty grinding sound and vibration. And he said one of the wheel bearings is bad on the car, so we're gonna go ahead, pull this thing in the shop, get it up in the air, and grab a hold of those wheels and see what's going on. quick and Easy way to tell if you got a bad wheel bearing is get that wheel up off the ground, grab it on both sides and try and wiggle it side to side, then grab it on top and bottom and wiggle that thing up and down. Little wiggle there, but it's actually just moving the strut. It seems pretty solid on the wheel itself. Holy, the clearance on this caliper to the wheel is like nothing. Oh, you can't even see it. Look at how close the caliper is to the wheels on this thing. I cannot believe that doesn't rub. Crazy. This side doesn't seem too bad. Let's go ahead and lift the driver's side and see what that does. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a wild guess here, but you can actually see the cords sticking out of this tire. Something is messed up on this driver's side other than possibly an alignment, but let's grab that wheel and see what it does. Oh yeah. There you can wiggle the tire. This wheel bearing is shot. I about cut my hand too. The cords are actually sticking out on this side. Let's get this tire off. Oh, that one wasn't even tight. We're gonna go ahead and pick up some new rubber for these too, because these things are shot. A little baby rotor here. Alright. Wonder how fun it's gonna be to get this wheel bearing out of here. We'll go ahead and pull this cotter pin out here, get this little shield off, and then we can break the nut loose on the CV shaft. Once we get that loose, we'll go ahead and pop the bolts off the caliper, get the caliper off, pull the rotor off, and we can, from there we can kind of see what else we need to get tore apart to get this wheel bearing out of here. Got this loose, popped off the bolts on the caliper. So we got the spindle off, destroyed the tie rod boot on that, so that's good. We'll have to get a new one of those. This one's kind of screwed too. I don't know, sometimes you have to replace the whole lower control arm for those. I really don't want to do that, so maybe we'll see if we can press that lower ball joint as well. So actually, the wheel bearing is pressed into the hub, which you can kind of tell that it's bad. It's tough to see, but it's got a lot of play in it. Now we got to pull these 3 retaining clip bolts out. Once we get those out, then the wheel hub, the wheel bearing actually have to be pressed out of the steering knuckle here. So that really kind of sucks. I wasn't wanting to do that, but it is what it is. Alright, so we finally got the hub assembly pressed out of the steering knuckle. That was not fun. Getting it into the vise just was a disaster, but doesn't matter. It came out in like 5 different pieces. Popped that out first, then popped the bearings out. Then I had to put a bigger socket in, pop the rest of the bearing out. And then finally at the very end, on the front side, there's a seal. that goes. You just use a screwdriver and it popped that out. But I mean, it wasn't awful. It only took me about 30 minutes, but I just didn't plan on doing that. And that's about how all my projects go. You always end up doing something you don't intentionally plan on. Alright, we got our cheapo Harbor Freight press that I got off Marketplace for like 20 bucks. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to press this new hub assembly down into the steering knuckle here. We're going to release the tension on here, make sure it spins fine. And then I also thought I messed up because there's those 3 bolts in this retaining plate here. But the new design, they were thinking ahead, and clearly this has happened to somebody, but it allows you to be able to put the bolt through the assembly here. This upper ridge is actually where the new seal goes, so let's go ahead and tap that in slightly with a dead blow hammer. So we got the new seal here. Actually, it looks like it goes upside down, but that's the correct way. Sometimes you gotta get just absolutely creative to try and tap these down evenly. As you know, I mentioned dead blow hammer before, but yeah, I don't have one. Time to bolt this all back together and drive this mean beast home. I am so excited. Just ripping this thing around the driveway, the suspension, it just feels like you lean left or right every time you hit the steering wheel, and it is literally like an adult-sized go-kart with some windows in it. It's awesome. Alright, let's go ahead and get this new tie rod on. That looks completely different. We're just gonna hope that's the same. Pretty sure these are like reverse threaded too. Driver's side is not reverse threaded. Luckily we did not break anything there. Kind of trick too is leave that nut right where it was, so that way when you screw this one on, it kind of puts you in the same spot, so at least you can drive to a shop and get it aligned. Or you can always pull the old string trick and try and align it yourself. Don't mind the loud noises in the background. Neighbors are grinding tree stumps over there, which makes for great time to video. Alright, sometimes when you go to tighten these two, it just wants to sit here and spin the tie rod. So what you can do is kind of get yourself a pry bar, pry down on the tie rod itself. That will help prevent it from spinning on you, so you can get the nut tight. Just like that. We got steering again. Go get the new tire. Look at these fresh things. Right from the good old Walmart of Ames, Iowa. Spent like $100 on 2 tires for this car. Why can't truck tires be that cheap? Alright, so I was going to do the right thing and balance these tires on the wheel, but as I showed you in the video prior, the calipers are just right against the wheel, and all I have is these stick-on weights, yeah, I would have ripped them off immediately going down the road. It does have some weights on the side here, but I don't have the kind of clip-on, so we're just gonna run it without being balanced. One thing I will never understand is why they put chrome caps over top of lug nuts. That is just a disaster waiting to happen. Torqued. What spec is that? Alright, so like every other car in my driveway, you let it sit for 2 days, it just breaks itself. We got some random noises coming out of this plastic shield here where your timing belt is. So we're gonna go ahead, tear that apart, and see what's making noise in there. I think it's safe to say we got some bad motor mounts too. Maybe that's causing it, but I think we might go ahead and just pull this valve cover off real quick, just to let's double check these rockers. There we go. Like somebody just threw some gasket maker on this. Who did that? Ah, but that's the rattle. It just sits in there. What kind of design is that? Well, the rockers are all tight, so that's plus. Cam doesn't look too terrible. Looks like all our caps are tight. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that we just got this cover in here and that's rattling around in here making noises. It's weird that it's not bolted down to anything. So we went ahead, I scraped off all the old gasket on the valve cover, wiped it off with some DA. Gonna throw some RTV back on it since that's what it had. And
church bells.
Don't mind the church bells in the background. We went ahead and we got everything put back together. Oh, look at this. We even got block heater on this thing. Fancy. Got some parts laying up here. That's probably making... What the hell is this? We got some shoestring with the spring on it for something. I have absolutely no idea what that would be used for. Maybe for the windshield wipers? Let's pull them back down. Huh. Who knows? Some redneck tried to do something with it. Well, I think it's finally time we take this thing out in the road and we'll see how she handles. Alright, I forgot about one more issue I don't really need to fix. It's kind of just a suggestion, but... So, this seat is not even bolted down in here. Not that I really need to. It's got one bolt in it, which, you know, would think would be good enough, but this one, I went to go put it in, and the nut broke on the back side, which is like a tubular support for the chassis, and you can't get to the nut to re-weld it or even just put a different bolt in like that. So gonna have to figure out something, weld something for that, unfortunately. The back one on this side, I can get a nut on the bottom side, so we're gonna at least throw one back here. Should be just fine. All right, bolts are in. Oh yeah, that's much gooder. I ain't going anywhere. Now we're ready to take this thing for a rip. All right, one thing I never did show you guys is the trunk on this thing. Maybe I can get it open. It looks brand new back here too. Jesus. What is in the box here? Okay, I definitely can't do this. We gotta... What is in here? Looks like we got a bunch of new parts. Alright, so those definitely don't hold the hatch up. What that is? Huh. Yeah, there's just no good way to... What? No way, this thing's got washer fluid in the back here. There's a cap for the rear wiper. This thing has rear windshield wipers and a heated rear window. Frickin' loaded. This thing is gonna be a just real nice daily. Alright, well, that's as good as we get there. What do we got in here? Holy crap, we've just got all kinds of new parts. We got all new brake hoses, wheel seals, wheel cylinders. Oh, nice. Definitely need to replace these. I can't hardly even open up the driver's door because that handle's so bad. Definitely need to put those on. Oh, we got handles for the whole car. Man, relays, new bolts, a bag of Gorilla Glue and toothpicks. I don't even want to know what he was repairing with that. What the heck is... Oh, I think this is another bumper cover. Wow. Heck yeah. Looks like we just need to get a new bolt for that side and we can throw that back on. What else we got in here? Oh, nice. New master cylinder. I noticed the old one's actually leaking, so we'll go ahead and worry about brakes after we take it for a cruise, because I'm just dying to hit the road with this thing. What in the world? Ah! I bet this is to hold the hatch up. Wow. There we go. It's like he thought about that before me. That is wild, this thing has windshield wiper fluid back here. I've never seen that before in a car. Oh, its seats do drop down. You got hinges here. This thing is just... It looks like the carpet was replaced back here because it's black. Black in the trunk, but blue on the inside where the seats are. All kinds of new parts. We're going to be able to make this thing a real nice daily. Let's go ahead and drop this and go take it for a cruise finally. Oh, why didn't I put this in there? Whoop. Yep. I love that this thing just fires right up. It runs so good. Oh, we got radio? Oh, did I break it? Oh, I guess I just broke the radio. We had a clock and now I can't get it to turn back on. Story of my life. Everything I touch breaks. Let's go ahead and go see how she drives. This thing is just a little ripper. I hope the wheels are all tight because I didn't check the back ones. Alright. Not much power, we're kind of rolling. Alright. It's definitely takes a bit to get this thing up to 40-50 miles an hour. Brake pedal doesn't seem too bad either, surprisingly. Let's go ahead, hop out and get a real good view of this thing again. Oh yeah, what an absolute unit we got here. I need to, oh, you can kind of hear that rattle again. Hey, I don't know what that is. Sounds like it's in the valve cover or that plastic shield over the timing belt. Obviously we got the annoying squeaky belt there, but I did notice too, oh, as you can see, the door just, you gotta kind of put your knee into it and, yeah, there we go. But it drove decent, up around 25-ish miles an hour. It kind of had a hiccup, but I just gave it a little bit more gas and it worked itself out of there. So I don't know, I'm sure the gas is probably super old in this thing and could use a fresh tank, but hey, that's what we're here for. All right, gonna try and whip a quick donut here. Let's see what this bad thing can do. Oh, all right, foot to the floor, shift. All right, hey, we're making progress. Let's go, little go-kart. All right, foot is still to the floor. Can we get 50? Come on. It takes so long to get up to 60 miles an hour, it's great. There we go. We're cruising. All right, not bad. It's driving straight down the road even. Go ahead, get some temperature into the motor and see if we are all good there. But yeah, it's cruising nice down the road. I'm impressed actually. All right, we made it back to the shop and we definitely have a lot of weird smells going on here. As bad as that belt is squealing, I'm pretty sure, I'm surprised it doesn't throw the belt. We're gonna go have to get new belts there, tension nose, but not smoking anywhere, not leaking too much oil. Temperature's slowly on the rise, so hopefully we don't have any head gasket problems or anything like that, but not bad, solid little ripper. All right, we made it to the car wash. Let's go ahead and clean this thing up proper, as nice as it is.
suspension hasn't even settled in yet. I see why you unbolted the seat though, to make it seem like,
Whoa! That's a little trick. You make sure that people make you think you got more power than it does.
It's not the seat, it's all engine, baby. Oh man.
Well, that's right to the floor. Oh, hey!
Did that fourth cylinder kick in?
Yeah. Alright, well, we made it to the end of the driveway and it died. We're good, we're good. Come on now, Omni, don't let me down.
Is that how it's gonna work? Every stop sign you're gonna have to turn it back on.
Just gotta give her a little gas every once in a while. Alright, I'll swallow your tongue on this power.
I wish I could say I'm shocked and awed, but disappointed.
Hey, but it rides nice. The suspension on this thing is top notch.
I feel like I'm a semi-driver of the way.
Alright, wait till we go over to the railroad tracks. You'll really know this thing is just a... I didn't feel nothing. Horn don't work. Yeah.
You can squeak by with anything.
Oh, there's my hat blowing off on the way here. I know, you want to drive it every day, but you know what? You can't. This is my vehicle.
You can have it.
Not a bad drive. Well, there you have it, guys. Another old classic back on the road. Needs a couple things: squeaky belts, door handles, fuel gauge quit working, speedometer quit working, temp gauge quit working. A few little things that, you know, don't really matter at the time being, but plan was to sell this car because I have too many, but I love this little thing. It is awesome to drive. It's a total blast. But next week we'll be back with the Camaro. We did get it up and running. Did a couple tests, found out some issues that I had to buy some parts, so we're waiting on parts for that car right now. Should be here early next week to finish that video up finally. Until then, like the video, comment, subscribe. Appreciate all the feedback and everything, guys. Thank you.